How's everybody doing out there today? Welcome to the show. This is Nothing But Facts, and I'm your host, Papa G. So let's get it.
Get a job and work, that shit didn't work. Say all I'm qualified to do is ride and spit a verse. Get my feelings hurt every time I sit in church. Real talking dead at me, nigga got me feeling worse. So I ain't congregating about 7 to 8 months. Broke the promise made to myself and started back blazing blunts. I know that's crazy, huh? Feeling like a bad man. I look at me in the mirror, all I see is my dad, man. I got some things that I need to address. Couple issues need to get off my chest. Like the fact that I got a son, I ain't been kicking it with him. Got him a ball, I ain't been pitching it with him. Yeah, I miss my little nigga. I try to get him, but me and his mama don't get along. I mean, I call, but the bitch when I pick up the phone, my therapist asked me what I do, the things that I does. Got up, looked her in the eye, my reply was,
All right. How's everybody doing out there today? All right. I'm your host, Papa G, and we got another great show coming today. So let's just go ahead on and get it started. Open up with our prayer so we can get right into it. You understand me? So if you're interested, we're over in Lamentations chapter 3, verses 64 through 66, and it reads, "Render unto them a recompense, O Lord, according to the work of their hands. Give them sorrow of heart. Thy curse unto them. Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens of the Lord. May the Lord add a blessing to the hearing, receiving, and doing of his word." Because the doing of his word is the biggest part of it. Now, today, y'all know what it is. We're here to have a community conversation. And what is the community conversation about? The community conversation is about exposing the bully. And who is the bully? The bully is child support. The bully is the attorney general. The bully is the family, federal, state, and local courts, and any monstrosity that's participating in trying to create a system of family in America that puts the mother as the head of the household and then creates financial subsidies to sustain this false system. All right? Because the attorney general, child support, family court, federal, state, and local government are trying to replace the father so hard, our cities, our states, our towns, everywhere we are unsafe. Okay? Young men are not even safe to themselves. We have to stand up. We have to acknowledge that this is the civil rights, the human rights issue of our time. This is the greatest travesty, happening in America today. Okay? The abuse and abdication of fathers' rights, so that ultimately America can define the morality and the type of country that we're going to have, instead of allowing the family unit to determine what type of country we're going to have. And we have to stand up for fathers' rights. We have to acknowledge that we are not safe as a nation. We can't even be serious about fielding a strong military if we do not allow fathers to be in charge of their sons. We need a bill, a law that says that when a man and a woman separate, the male child goes with the father. We need to understand that this is for the good of society. This is for the good of humanity. This is for the decency of us all. We have to understand that it is the bad men and women of society today that have gotten hold of the reins and are trying to run us amok. They are fighting vicious against all of our foundational building blocks. We can't pray in the schools. When they took prayer out of schools, pistols went into the public school system. Y'all know I ain't lying. There wasn't no public school shootings and all this kind of thing when we had prayer going on in school. Okay? You knuckle under. We didn't stand up for the Creator. We didn't fight. We just denied him in front of man. Okay? They didn't come so far now as to, then they started to destroy the Father. And to show you how, if you work with the enemy is constantly working to destroy you at the same time you working with him. While white America was busy trying to destroy black fatherhood, calling him the disappearing dad and the wandering father and all this kind of stuff, what they didn't understand is the standard that they was creating for fathers was going to come back and haunt them in the future as well. Because the bed that you make for someone else, you definitely may have to lay in it. So what happened is you're passing rules thinking you're affecting the black fathers only, not understanding that the rules apply to everyone. So now you've scooped up all of your own poor and middle class people into this dragnet, and you're disrespecting those fathers as well. But this is the way evil operates. The ones that are unaffected are going to come up with some type of thing for the ones that are affected to continue to accept the misery that's being poured on them with some slogan like poor white people were told, well, at least you're not a nigger. So they had that to hold on to. The one thing of, at least I'm not a nigger. I mean, it's not real. You still drowning just like me. It's just that, you know, they telling you, well, you drowning as a white boy. And that's good enough for you to hold still and drown. So ultimately, you just as stupid. You know, we have to stand up and come together and say, the Attorney General, Family Court, Child Support, you know, the powers that be are trying to destroy America. They declared war on the covenant of marriage in the year 2015. And we have to stand up. Sodomy became legal in the United States of America in 2003. All of these new things that they're doing prompts us to say we have to set ourselves aside. Okay? We have to say we want the covenant of marriage removed from the criminal justice system and put back into the holy house of the Lord. Okay? Traditional marriage has no place in the criminal justice system. We want the definition of family, which has been here with us long before any of these other risky tools came about with man and man and woman. We want the definition of family that's long been here to be protected. Okay, and given its true definition and make it legal. That a family is only what comes from the way that one can be created naturally. Okay? And acknowledge the first order, nature, which is one male, one female, and the offspring that they bring. Family is a husband, a wife, and the children that they make. The only way to make children is for a man and a woman to have intercourse, is for the woman to conceive, okay? And then 9 months later, they will have an infant. That is the only way to create life. If a man lay with a man, I don't care if they do it 1,000,000 times, they will never produce anything but disease. If a woman lay with a woman, I don't care how many times they do it, they will never produce anything. Okay? So if it doesn't be fruitful and multiply, then it doesn't fit under the ideology of family. Okay? If it is one woman and some children, that is not a family. That is a single parent household. The same way if it's one father and some children. It's the same thing. Okay? When you have 2 men and some children, that is nothing. Complete abomination. When you have 2 women and some children, that is nothing. Complete abomination. Understand this. I did not make these rules. These rules was here before I got here. Imagine how hateful it must be to be so evil as to want to destroy the women and children. Because that's what child support and the Attorney General and Family Court is trying to do when they are constantly promoting a system where they're making the mother the head of the household, and they have the U.S. government standing behind them, the federal government, giving food stamps and welfare and Section 8 and HUD and all this other stuff, and crippling these people before they ever even get a chance to understand what they are capable of. What are you afraid of? I don't understand. What is the government afraid of by allowing to let these people fail? And see what these people will do once they realize when their stomach touch their back that nobody cares. So you better care and make sure you eat. That's reality. You understand? Now look. Are you a sheep or a goat? Are you a cow or a bull? When you look at these animals in nature, the sheep never trans into the goat. The cow never trans into the bull. The bull never trans into the cow, and the goat never trans into the sheep. It don't happen that way. So if it's not happening that way in the rest of nature, it's not happening that way in human. Okay, I want to go over to Ephesians 5, chapter 12. And it says, "For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret." Now let me tell you something. If you're doing something where it's a shame for people to sit up and talk about what you're doing, and it's not a shame to sit up and talk about a man loving a woman and sacrificing for a woman. It's not a shame to sit up and talk about a woman loving a man and sacrificing for a man. It's not a shame to describe a man romancing a woman and the intimate way that they lay. It's not a shame, and vice versa. But it is a shame if you laid up there and describe a man intimately laying with another man, or a woman intimately laying with another woman. That is not publicly accepted. You don't hear love songs on the radio about things like that because it's not part of the norm. But if we don't stand up to this silly season, it will be. Listen. I want to run over here to Matthew 11, verse 12, because we got to stop all the lies. Okay? So, Matthew chapter 11, verse 12 says, "And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force." So, all you false people of faith that's running around here trying to talk about be humble, be humble, be humble, be humble, be humble. Okay? Let me explain to you exactly what they're trying to do. This is how they run all the young boys off out of the church, and how they turn all of the men off in the church, in the black church. So, we're going to look at the definition of the word humble. All right? And humble All right. It means having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. So automatically, to be humble, you have to have a low value of yourself so that you are showing, genuinely, you are showing a modest, low estimate of one's own importance. That means if Michael Jordan would have did that, the Bulls wouldn't have won all them championships. Okay. A low social, administrative, or political rank. Someone lower in dignity or importance, not proud. You see, because what they want to do is they want to play with words so that they could just get your money. So when they sitting in your face and they telling you, be humble, be humble, be humble, this is what they're telling you. Understand exactly what they're saying. They saying to you that they want you to act like you have no importance or a very low estimate of your importance. This how you can value keeping your mouth shut while the enemy is going to and fro and slaying and confusing all of the people and everything, and you can allow confusion to just spread. You're a coward. So then we look up bold. All right? Because we know that he also wants you to be bold. So while they playing and always telling you be humble, be humble, be humble, be humble, listen why they don't want to tell you be bold, be bold, be bold. See, if they tell you be bold, the church will be full of men. If they tell you be bold, okay, then we would have the full diversity up in there. We would actually be doing things. But the black church has made a deal with the U.S. government to not help the people come together and solve any of the issues or any problems that's going on. And as long as they just take the money and go home and keep living the lavish life and let the people just sit there and wait on glory to come, everything is okay. That's how come you see the minister trying to feed the people cowardice, to tell them to hunker down in the church, be quiet, don't say nothing to nobody. If you on that job and that man say, don't you say nothing about Christ, you know you got to take care of them children or whatever. Don't you say nothing about Christ. Let alone that the birds of the field don't worry about how they going to eat. Let me leave that alone. But anyway, so they say bold is a person of action or idea, showing an ability to take risk. Confident and courageous, fearless, daring spirit. What did it say? It said a fearless, daring spirit. Who wants you to have that? Who does that sound like wants you to have that? Huh? And with that type of spirit, you could walk in amongst all of the bad spirits. And what they're going to do? Sire, 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 sire. Huh? But you a coward. So since you a coward, you want to try to push this to other people, it's a lie. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let me look up coward. Let me tell you what coward means real quick. You understand me? So a coward is a person who lacks the courage to do or endure dangerous or unpleasant things. A person who shows disgraceful fear or timidity, an easily intimidated person. This is what the enemy wants you to be. He wants you to give up your birthright for a morsel of meat and become profane. And I'm telling you to hold on to your discipline. I'm telling you to be bold. I'm telling you to be daring. I'm telling you to have a spirit of no fear. No fear! How can you understand that he telling you, you understand me, about the violence? What he said? Hold on, what he said? Because I don't want you to try to act like I said it. He said, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. Run up, get done up, sun up, the sun down. You don't want clown. Look here. It's okay to be humble. It is. It's okay to be humble when it's the proper place and the proper time. But it's also, you have to be bold in defense of him. Now, I don't went over what bold means, so I ain't about to keep on beating that horse. But now listen, men, we have named and built this world. You understand me? Yes, let's share it with the ladies, but we are in charge, and we have been charged with being a good steward. That is our charge, not the ladies. And we are in charge. When you're in charge, you get the credit for everything good that happened and the blame for everything bad that happened. So if you choose to follow bad advice, understand ultimately the buck is going to stop with you. When the Creator comes back to deal with his creation, who you think he talking to? He talking to the one where he shaped and molded with his own hand and breathed life into and sat down and personally gave instruction to and said, this is what I expect from you, for me giving you this. And you have dominion over this whole place. So when you come back with, and that woman that you gave me, only thing gonna happen is you're gonna be in trouble by yourself. Because I'm sitting here telling you, I'm keeping it real. Okay, look. That woman was not charged with being a good steward. Okay, records say the only time women were spoken to by the Creator was to offer her punishment. Okay, the understanding that I have is he came in the cool of the still of the day to talk to me. My old lady was in the house fixing something to eat, doing whatever she was in there doing, getting the place straight, you dig, while I was outside talking with the Creator. Ain't nobody making none of this up. So you have to know that we gonna be the one doing all that wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, the women gonna get in trouble, but you better believe the main punishment is gonna be to the ones that he charged with being good stewards of the earth, that he charged with being the head of the family, that he charged with bringing your family up, understanding and respecting me. So when you can't go to him and say, well, Lord, you know, I was scared of the Attorney General. Oh, yeah, you were scared, more scared of the Attorney General than me? Well, Lord, you know, them people, they was after me, you dig? Let me tell you something, brother. Them people after me too. But I'm going to tell you like this. Them people lie. And if them people come messing with me, I'm going to make them people kill me. You understand? Who is you to take me and lock me in a cell because, you know, I have a child? It's okay for you to say to the woman, I'm going to do everything for you. You ain't going to take her and lock her in a cell, but you're going to tell me I don't have the same right. You're going to take me and lock me in a cell. You stupid. You stupid. I will be free. I will be free. If that means I'm dying, breathing free, yeah, that's what's happening. And men, we have to develop this attitude, especially when it comes to our male children. Especially when it comes to our male children, men, we have to be willing to go straight to the jailhouse from the courtroom and go straight on the hunger strike. That's how serious this have to be. That's how serious this have to be. Men, ladies, we need you to stand with us so that the family can be the strong unit that it is and stand against the government and say no more of this. If you're helping the family, you are helping the family, but you will not come in between us and cause division. You will not pick a side on who you're helping and make the other one the villain. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Okay? Listen. Watch this. When the government say, listen. When the government say, no more talking about Jesus Christ, if you do, you're going to be in trouble, right? Then they're going to be your smart Christians, your ones who they really fake, but they're going to be like, oh, listen. Lord, I want you to be smart, Lord. I don't want you to get yourself in harm's way, Lord. I don't want you to get hurt. You see what I'm saying about that? You see what I'm saying about that humble? You see how that humble leads to that coward? Okay, the opposite way of bold. And with all the qualities that bold bring. You see what they want you to do? They want you to lay down. They want you to just keep on taking it. First, no prayer in the school. Then no prayer with the public events. You see what I'm saying? Now marriage ain't what marriage is. Okay? Forget that, stupid. You don't know what's a boy. You don't know what's a girl. Stop telling them children they boys and they girls. You understand me? All this can be ended if we stand up and we say uniformly that no more will we allow the male children, when a couple separate, to go away from the father. The only relationship that's repeatedly said throughout this book is the father and the son. The father and the son. If that is the major theme of this book, how can we here on earth sit here and try to act like we don't get that lesson from this book? I'm not saying that the ladies have to surrender the girls to us, because that would make us a perverse world. But we are becoming a perverse world by allowing us to surrender the boys to the ladies. No, we got to stand up, and with one loud resounding sound, we got to put our feet down, men and women, and say, boom, we ain't playing with you like that no more. You're not getting our children as cannon fodder for your criminal industrial complex, for your medical industrial complex, for your low morale society. You understand me? So that you can just keep promoting whatever you want to. Next thing you know, they're going to promote boys wearing skirts. You understand me? And then what they'll do is they'll make sure that all of the stores just have skirts in it, so that the boys don't have no chance. We have to put our feet down. We have to say we want the family order the way it's supposed to be. Go find you something else to play with. Listen, we are about to enter World War III. Humble had his place. We don't have time to be humble right now. We don't have time to be humble. Listen to me. All of the countries are turning their back against us because our president and our vice president are outside of the United States of America, telling the world we are a nation of gays. Then told the whole continent of Africa that human rights is for a man and a man to be able to lay together, and a woman and a woman to be able to lay together. They got the whole continent of Africa laughing at us. They done went over to, you got China, who, because America is being racist with Africa, because America is not trying to win business, but keeping things personal, China done won the whole continent of Africa. Russia done won the whole continent of Africa. Saudi Arabia has joined forces with China. China supports Russia. China supports North Korea. These people are looking at us like we are a nation of gal boys, and they are going to join forces and attack us. Listen, if the whole African continent, the Asian continent, the Russians, the Middle East, if they are all supplying military forces, you know, India is a traditional country. They're not going to sit there and say that men have to lay with men and make that say it's a human rights thing when they hardly can feed their people. So all of these people are going to look at us as the great Satan. You understand? We can't field a military that can supply enough human beings to come up against this many nations. And then on top of that, have our men saying, I'm not a man. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. How we gonna make it? And who want to fight with that? Are we being serious? The president and the vice president are on the world stage trying to offer penalties to whole continents because they don't want to adopt homosexuality. It pains me to say this. We would have been better off with Trump. South America is partnering with China. If the whole world is not using our money no more, turning their back on us and deciding that our people that we say we not really cool with is a better solution than being with us, where does that leave us? Are we really just that powerful and that whatever self-sufficient that we just going to exist and defy the whole known world? So Great Britain, United Kingdom, they don't have nothing. They can hardly grow trees. France don't have nothing. So between the three of us, we the only ones with something. And on top of that, we'll be the ones that have to help them. This is foolishness. This is real foolishness. Hold up. So we're going to change the subject because all of this is the fault of men here in America, because we have to unite. We have to stand up and we have to say that we have a responsibility as fathers, as leaders of our community, to put the natural order of things back in place. I don't care that the feminists are screaming, oh man, just want to take over and rule everything or whatever. Yes, it ain't no wanna. We are in charge. The proof is in the pudding. That's why he created us first. That's why we named you and you didn't name us. And we need to put things back in the natural order of things. We gave birth to you. You didn't give birth to us. I've already read to you that you are my glory. I'm not yours. You see what I'm saying? I've already read that to you. So I told y'all, I was like, listen, women's sport is under serious attack. Well, Title IX has just had an update done to it by the president, Joe Biden. And I think that probably at 80 years old, the president might be suffering from, a lack of mental capacity of some sort. Because for his age, he should not have been able to connect with a transgender man from the era that he come with through the time that he's come up with. He should have enough decency and respect for human beings that shouldn't have been able to reach him. But he signed into Title IX. If a school that's supposed to be all women sport don't want to let men compete in all women sport, then that school can't get federal money. Go look it up. That's what he did. So what that means? That means that now on the college level, you're going to have college level males able to go into the college level female locker room and watch them change, shower, and expose his genitalia and shower with them. Under what? I can't even say. I have to. Under what wicked parallel universe is this okay? Like, how come we sitting here and watching all of the ladies' safe spaces go away, and we just like, I guess that's just what it is, so that we can have fairness and equality. If this is fairness and equality, I don't want fairness and equality. If fairness and equality means that when my daughter gets to college, if she want to play volleyball and it's a man that identifies with being a woman, he can be on the woman's volleyball team and be in the woman's locker room. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cotton to that. So I mean, I don't understand what we doing. But men, we have to stand up. Do you see how strong the bond of father and son is in this word? Do you see the love they have between them? This is what the Attorney General, the family court, the child support, this is what the state of Louisiana, state, federal, and local government, they all know and they all don't want, because if you allow the natural bond between the father and the son to happen, we won't have a world that's out of control. Don't you know child support and the Attorney General and family court know what they're doing when they make rules that go directly against this word? Can't you understand, men? We have to join together. Whether you are a believer or a non-believer, you still a father. And this will be your chance to get healed and come into the fold with us. You understand? And stand up and put things back in the natural order of things, because they are doing it intentionally. They're not playing. They smart and they play the long game. I'm just a babe in the word. I'm just a babe in the word. Okay? But I do know that we have to protect the father-son relationship. You know, why is the legal definition of a woman or a man considered hate speech? Why is it that if you now point out what is a human woman and a human man, that's hate speech? Why, if you point out that marriage is between a man and a woman, you are promoting hate speech? How is saying what the Creator said hate speech? Huh? If you keep your mouth shut and you allow them to just keep on keeping on and doing what they're doing, believe me, this is judgment. When you die and go into the ground, when you get called back, it ain't going to be to say, explain this and explain that and explain this. They already know. They know your heart. He know your heart. He know your mind. He know your thoughts. He know everything. He see your actions, your decisions. You see what I'm saying? So when you go into that ground, if you go into that ground unrepentant and not a believer and not standing up for him in front of man, then you're not getting called back. You're not getting called back. Your judgment is done. When everybody else is being called back and enjoying themselves, you're gonna be, wailing and gnashing the teeth, doing whatever it is y'all gotta go through. I'm trying to avoid that, So how do we just disrupt society to accommodate such a small group of people? How do we turn the world on its head, where you would go to a continent like Africa, where there are people who don't know nothing about electricity, nothing about Coca-Cola, nothing about cement, okay, where the men sometimes die going to get the food and that family loses the provider? How do you go and tell those people, and the only way they survive is keeping their numbers up in their village? So they have to have children. So now you're going to go to these people and tell these people that the men supposed to lay with the men and the women supposed to lay with the women, and then they're going to look at you like you got any kind of sense at all. We are looking like clowns on the world stage. Our president and our vice president is out telling the whole world that we're a nation full of gays, that we are homosexuals as a country. We have to come together as a family and protect family, gender roles, male and female. We don't need child support, the Attorney General, family court, state, federal, and local government to get involved and start, soon as a child is born, They automatically giving the mama food stamps and welfare. She can apply for all this stuff, and then it's permanent, and they taking care of them forever. Stop trying to erase the father. You're destroying America. You're not helping nobody. You know, you're handicapping them. You're doing that other H word. Just give men the children. That's the bottom line. We don't need child support to tell us that we have to pay for them. If you gave them to us, then we would just pay for them because they will be with us. Why? What sense that make for you to tell us to pay for the children so it could be with the mama when we could just pay for the children and have them ourselves? Because they ours. That's why you make us pay for it. You only make people pay for what's theirs. And the DNA paperwork tell you that the child belongs to him. It ain't saying that's the father. It's saying the child belongs to him. And you saying the child belongs to him, that's why you're making them pay for it. Just like the car people pay for, the house people pay for what's theirs. We really have to come together to join forces and take down the Attorney General, Family Court, Child Support, you know, to take down these institutions, because these are the building block foundation institutions that feed the pipeline to the penitentiary, that are destroying our communities, making our cities unsafe. These are the direct contributors to why we are in the condition that we're in America, and our children are becoming homosexuals, and our president and vice president is out telling the whole world that the United States of America is a country full of homosexuals, and if you don't adopt gay rights in your country, then we're going to put economic sanctions on you. And it's going to be looked back in history, and we're going to be so shamed. Joe Biden said, "Thank you, Black Americans, for getting me elected." And then him and Kamala Harris go over to the Black continent and tell them all. And they bring news reporters and say, well, Barack Obama said it's okay. So since Barack Obama said it's okay, you know, you should be a nation of homosexuals and gays like we're the nation of homosexuals and gays. Fathers, we can prevent all of this. We can get a petition going in the United States of America, in every state, every village, every city, every town, every park, every alley, under every bridge. Get the conversation going that fathers should have their sons. I mean, people who ain't never voted before need to come together and help us get this going on, okay? So that we can make America great again. Because if fathers have their sons, we will be a great nation, okay? But if fathers don't get their sons, then young men who are playing NCAA basketball and don't get drafted in the NBA will go to the WNBA with no shame. And the WNBA gonna take them because it's business, and when they start dunking and doing all that kind of stuff, that's gonna draw all kind of attention to the WNBA and really hype up the business. So, you know, be careful, because when you lay with that enemy, he laying with your enemy. I want to take this time to shout out to Andrew Tate, because we need men like you in the world helping men to figure out how to be men. I have my sons, and I'm making sure my sons understand, you know, and I want to shout out to Fresh and Fit, because you fellas are doing what that is, also helping young men figure it out, even older men. Like I said, before I discovered the manosphere, I was in a little bit of a depression, because, you know, it's hard when you don't run into other men that's like you, and the other men that are like you, they have been, well, they're not like you, because that's why they have been taught to keep their mouth shut, you know. And then most men think that, you know, in order to be like me, you got to be ready to whoop a woman ass. You don't have to whoop a woman ass. She already know you can whoop her ass. You understand? All you got to do is let her know that you ain't playing that. And when a woman know you ain't scared of the police, number one, and she understand that you willing to pay the cost to be the boss and do everything you supposed to do to take care of her, then when you tell her to do something, she not gonna have a problem with that. You know, it's them people. You know, it's dudes that certain dudes, women don't give it to them for free. Certain dudes got to pay for it. That's just what it is. And you know, this has been Papa G saying that I love you and I love everybody. So until the next time, you know, peace.
Get a job and work, that shit didn't work. Say all I'm qualified to do is rhyme and spit a verse. Get my feelings hurt every time I sit in church. Real talking dead at me, nigga got me feeling worse. So I ain't congregating about 7 or 8 months. Broke the promise made to myself and started back blazing guns. I know that's crazy, huh? Feeling like a bad man. I look at me in the mirror, all I see is my dad, man. I got some things that I need to address. Couple issues need to get off my chest, like the fact that I got a son, I ain't been kicking it with him. Got him a ball, I ain't been kissing it with him. Yeah, I miss my little nigga. I try to get him, but me and his mama don't get along. I mean, I call, but the bitch when I pick up the phone, my therapist asks me what I do, the things that I does. Got looked her in the eye.